Shahram has been experiencing symptoms of social anxiety, particularly related to his work environment. Believing that psychological therapy might help, he began attending cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) sessions. In one session, his therapist, Darbaz, discussed Shahram's use of safety behaviors. These are coping strategies that people use to manage anxiety, but they can sometimes reinforce the problem. Together, they decided to try a behavioral experiment to explore how these behaviors impact Shahram's anxiety. Shahram shared that he often feels anxious at work, especially during social interactions. He said, "I get really anxious. I avoid eye contact, and I think my hands and legs start shaking. I also turn red and sweat, and I just feel like I look really weird." His therapist responded, "It sounds like you have a very vivid mental image of how you appear in those moments." The therapist then asked, "Do you do anything to try to manage or prevent those reactions?" Shahram replied, "When I'm holding the camera, I grip it really tightly. I clench all my muscles and try to focus on something to stop myself from shaking or going red." The therapist asked, "Do you make eye contact with people?" Shahram answered, "No, I usually just look down." Then the therapist asked, "What do you think would happen if you stopped doing these things, if you didn't grip the camera or started making eye contact?" Shahram replied, "It would be much worse. I'd shake more, be even more anxious, and look even weirder like I don't belong." The therapist proposed, "What if we tested that? We could role play a work situation twice, once where you use all your usual coping strategies, and once where you don't. Would you be willing to try that?" Shahram agreed. "Would it be okay if we filmed a role play so you could watch and see for yourself?" the therapist asked. Shahram responded, "Yeah, that's fine. I can use my phone." The first role play began with Shahram playing himself and the therapist playing a potential client. The therapist said, "Hi, I wanted to ask if you could do the photography for my wedding." Shahram responded, "Yeah. What kind of shots are you looking for? How do you want it to be?" The conversation continued, with the therapist describing preferences for candid and outdoor photos. Shahram replied, "Do you want it to be outside? I've done a few outdoor shoots before that I could show you." The therapist then asked, "Can you show me some of your previous work?" Shahram answered, "Yes, I recently did a shoot in a wooded area. I can show you those to give you some ideas." After the role play, the therapist asked Shahram to reflect. "What did you notice about how you felt during that?" Shahram said, "I felt like I was shaking a lot and turning really red, just really obvious." "On a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you think you were shaking?" "About a 9, he replied. "And how red did you feel you looked?" "Also about a 9, Shahram said. "What else were you worried about?" "Saying something stupid and sweating a lot," he said. "How bad did you think it was on a scale of 1 to 10? "Probably a 9 for both," Shahram replied. In the second round, Shahram tried not to use any of his usual safety behaviors. He made eye contact, relaxed his grip, and stayed more present in the conversation. The therapist began again, "Hi, I was wondering if I could talk to you about my wedding photography?" Shahram responded more naturally this time. "Yeah, what kind of things are you looking for? Lots of candid shots of family and friends? Outdoor photos?" The therapist described preferences for summer wedding shots and artistic photos. Shahram replied, "I've done a lot of natural, outdoor work. I'd be happy to show you some samples and see what ideas we come up with." After the role play, the therapist gave Shahram his phone to watch the recording. "How much shaking did you notice this time?" "Maybe less than a 3, he said. "Did you see yourself going red?" "Not really, definitely less than I expected," Shahram responded. "Did you notice anything look like stupid?" "No, maybe a 1 at most," he said. Reflecting on the experiment, Shahram said, "I thought it would be so much worse without my coping behaviors, but actually it was better. I looked more natural, and I was able to say what I wanted. I came across as more confident and personable when I wasn't looking down or trying to control everything."